Right when the COVID-19 crisis hit, I received a medical diagnosis of a heart condition that put me at greater risk of complications if I contracted the virus. This naturally made me feel even more anxious than I already was with just the news of COVID-19. Now, as a fight person, I swung into a mode of heading towards the threat. I did marathon Google searches on my condition. I bought devices to monitor my heart, and all of this led to even more questions. So I asked a friend at church who was a doctor if she would answer my questions. She agreed to do so, and we set up a time to talk on the phone. I then asked my wife if she would join me on this phone call. Now, here is where my inability to recognize my anxiety comes in. Or perhaps I should say, my inability to let others recognize my anxiety. I did not say to my wife what was really going on inside me. If I did, I would have said something like this: "Honey, I'm feeling really anxious about what's going on, and I would feel more reassured if you were by my side when we talked to the doctor on the phone." That's what I would have said if I'd recognized what was really going on. But instead, what I said to her was, "Look, I don't want to have to repeat all the same information for you, and I want you to be able to ask your questions, so you should be on the call with me." Notice again the subtle pushing out there to make this request be all about her and her needs, not about my anxiety. Well, my wife, as I said, tends towards the flight side. When a situation confronts her that feels out of her control, like this medical diagnosis, she tends to head away towards other tasks that she can control. So the night of our scheduled phone call with the doctor, she was trying to knock off her shopping list at 3 different stores. And the third store, I think, was Target. She was thinking that maybe Target had toilet paper. And well, that was a task that was manageable, that was controllable, and not threatening. Very different from my medical condition. So, right before our scheduled time with the phone call with the doctor, she calls me and says she's going to conference call in from the aisles of Target. That's when I got really, really angry. But I did it in this sort of pouty, passive-aggressive way. "Fine," I said. "Sure, if that's what you want to do, if it's that important to you to finish your shopping, you just may have to mute yourself when Target announces the special on dish soap." So my hostility, in the passive-aggressive form, in turn really confused my wife. She thought that what I really cared about was that she received all the information so I didn't have to repeat things to her, and she felt she could accomplish that by conference calling in. And she really, really wanted to check off the toilet paper on her list. So she felt angry that I was expressing all this passive-aggressive hostility towards her and confused at what was going on. Neither of us could recognize our underlying anxiety. I was in fight mode, she was in flight mode, and we were just missing each other. I then misinterpreted her flight behavior as not caring about me. She misinterpreted my fight behavior as a need for shared information, not shared presence. And so we hurt each other out of that unrecognized anxiety. Unrecognized anxiety damages ourselves and our relationships.